Well, here we go, Patrick. The Bass Commissioners are back after I guess we were off last week. I was at a
Yeah,
I was at a sports show. Hey, breaking news! I caught my first bass of the year today.
nice. That's awesome.
Little stinker off a
Hey,
bed.
I'm going to pick my boat up tomorrow finally after a
Okay.
couple weeks.
Well, there you
So I'm
go.
excited about that.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I got off today and I went to the pond near the house and I walked the pond and boy, that full moon moved him up. There's a lot of fish up moving around and found a pair that were locked on. Of course, I caught the small male and the female took off. The way it always goes. But anyway, felt good to pull on one today.
For sure. For sure.
Oh,
That's awesome.
all right, what do we got tonight?
So, you and I kind of talked. We didn't really have a whole lot as far as making rulings, but I messaged you last week, and on our last show we talked about the guys not knowing their weights and bass, as far as Bassmasters go, they don't know their weights. They're running around there, and I was kind of hesitant because I said, "Well, how would Gusty have fished different had he known he was still in the lead and everything else?"
He
And
wouldn't have
then,
had a heart attack. He wouldn't have had a heart attack all day long.
well, that's true. Well, he wouldn't have had a heart. But I started thinking about this because I started after you and I did the show. I went back and started watching some of the interviews, and he was like, "Man, the boat ride back was just so
Yeah.
like I thought I lost it. I thought I lost it." But so him only having that small margin of a lead, he thought he lost it. But had he had known he was in the lead, but not by much, it still would have put pressure on him to go catch it. And then that would have changed everybody behind him who all thought that he had slayed him again.
Yeah.
And they thought, there's no way I'm going to catch him. Had they had known that they were just 1 pound away, what would they have gone to do differently? Maybe so that would have added drama. Maybe they would have taken off up the lake and went and swung for the fences on something to try to catch a 5-pounder or 6-pound largemouth or whatever. And I started thinking about all that, and I was like, man, you know what? It wouldn't have mattered because it would have added more drama. Because, in fact, the fact that most of those guys thought Gussie was running away with it on day 3, it would have added more drama to it to me if they would have known their weights.
You think? Do you think the glide baits would have come out at that point?
Something. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if you're sitting there going, I got to swing for the fence. I need one big fish, and I win the Bassmasters Classic. Why wouldn't you?
No, I think so. I think those guys that were because he was about 6 pounds ahead going into the last day. I think a lot of those guys would have I think a lot of those guys I think were fishing for second place and were trying to get that second place money, so to speak. But yeah, I agree with you. If I mean, I watched the Bass Live segment with Chris Zaldane, and Chris Zaldane was dying. Well, he wanted to let. I mean, he didn't really want to know, but he was just. He's like, oh, if Gussie only knew what what was going on. He's killing himself out there, and he's okay. I mean, there's no way to let him know that. And
Right.
but you put a guy like Chris Zaldane who's going to throw swim baits anyway, no matter what. But I mean, yeah, we'd be swinging for the fences. It would have been high drama.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Schmidt was like 1 pound, 9 ounces roughly back.
Yeah.
I mean, because Gussie won with 42 pounds, 7 ounces. Brian Schmidt won with 40, or was in second with 40 pounds, 14 ounces. And then Canterbury was at 40 pounds, 1 ounce. So had they known that they were that close, you got those two guys. And then it's like Benton was at 38, John Cox 36, but still, maybe those two go out there and they start, like you said, they're throwing a glide bait trying to catch a big fish. And then now Gustafson's sitting there going, oh, man, these guys are going to go swing for the fences now. What am I going to do? I mean, it adds that whole level of drama there that I think would have still been there. And like you said, too, I mean, what other sport out there do they not know the score?
Yeah, that's not an original comment on my part. I heard somebody else say that somewhere. Maybe it might have been Gary Klein, but I just think it makes so much sense that in every sport you know the score. You make up your strategy based upon where you are, and I think you make a really good point. I think what we would have seen in the classic is we would have seen the glide baits come out, and you would have seen guys really instead of just trying to catch a limit, because it was tough that last day. It was tough for everybody. But instead of trying to just catch a limit, and move up the standings, get a little bit bigger paycheck, I think if guys had known they were within 1 pound, 2 pounds, you'd have seen the heavy artillery come out, and I think that's what we want to see. And I know we're going to get people from Bass upset with us, but I think they have got to do something about that. It's not the weigh-in used to be the big exciting thing, but with the technology we have today, it's not. It's not anymore. It's not. Especially when everybody in that arena knew who was going to win, except for the guy who won.
Right.
I mean,
but even at that, like, sorry, I didn't cut you
no,
off.
I just mean everybody knew that Gussie was further ahead than he thought he was, and
Right.
these poor guys up on the stage, they're the only ones that don't have an idea.
Right. Well, and not just that, like, but the thing is, like, I've listened to Gussie talk too on a couple different podcasts, and he said when he got back to the when he got back to the boat ramp, that somebody looked at him and said, "Hey, man, I think you got it. I think you're okay." And then when he was in the arena and heard Brian Schmidt's weight, he knew he had won.
Yeah.
So the suspense of him walking up on the stage, I mean, I'm sure there's still a small part of him that was like, what if I don't? But in his mind, and when you watched him, when they wheeled him into the arena, it looked like he had that look on his face, like, I'm pretty sure I just won this. So he kind of already knew anyways. And, like, I listen to Mercer talk. Mercer doesn't listen to any of the weights or anything like that because he likes to be surprised. But again, we knew he won. Like you said, we knew he had it, most likely. And if you got fans screaming from the stands, hey, you won it, and all these people talking to him, what suspense are we really adding anymore? We're not. I mean, we're pretending there's suspense there, but there's not really suspense there. So, yeah.
Well, there's the high drama of the guys not knowing, but like you said, I think knowing is better because knowing causes anglers to make different decisions and to swing for the fences and things like that. Anyway, I do think that BASS needs to adopt a similar schedule, a similar format of some kind to what Major League Fishing is doing. That score tracker. I mean, I don't care what format you use, but the score tracker, the live results. It's like watching a real professional sport
Right.
where you know the score. Shifting gears right now. I don't know if you want to shift gears or not, but congratulations to Anthony Gagliardi. What a great win he just completed at Lake Murray. That was good. Did you watch that this week?
Yeah, I got to watch some of it. I didn't get to watch as much as I wanted to today. Unfortunately, in my region of Texas, we've been getting a lot of rain, and we've been checking rivers and creeks and everything else to make sure that they're not flooding.
You guys pulling any cats out of trees?
No, not today.
Is that a fire? Is that a bad fireman joke? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. People actually do call us about cats. Well, the whole joke is, have you ever seen a cat skeleton in a tree? But, yeah, most of the time
That's
we're like,
awesome.
look, if we try to go up there and get them, they just get scared and climb higher. So
Right.
the best thing you can do is put some food at the bottom and leave them alone.
That's right. They got up there. They can get down. Okay, so we're talking about these formats this week. High drama. I mean, at the end of the first round, you've got that cut line, and then in the knockout round, you've got that cut line. Did you see Brett Chapman catch that 4-pounder, um, like with 2 minutes to go yesterday, that put him into the cut. That was, I mean, that's what this format does. That's what
brings the excitement.
that's what the score tracker does. Is it makes it happen. Now there wasn't a lot of high drama today because Anthony Gagliardi just beat on those fish. It helps catching an 8-pounder. Good for him.
Right. Right. Well, I don't know if you saw, like yesterday, they had the drone over there, and they had the drone flying around, and they had James Watson over there trying to catch that bedfish, and that was awesome. I was sitting there watching that, and I was like, set the hook, set the hook. I was yelling. Obviously, you can't hear me, but you can see it take it, and it was just funny watching. Like, that was with what Bass did with tuning into the forward-facing sonar, like they did with Gussie during that tournament, and what MLF was doing right there with that drone looking down on those bedfish like that. That was awesome. That was good coverage.
I don't know who drives that Major League Fishing drone, but whoever that drone pilot is awesome, because there was footage I saw that I saw that several times on the bedfish there. But they also had a close up of, I don't know if those were blueback herring or whatever they were, that were swimming along the bank. They had schools of them, like I think they were in a spawn or something like that. That was pretty incredible to see that too. That's what makes this kind of stuff exciting.
And they waited it wasn't like they went and hovered over a bedfish and gave the angler a tip that it was there. They didn't go hover over it till the angler had already said.
Yeah.
Like James Watson was already flipping. He was constantly flipping, and that's when the drone moved in over there and then zoomed in on it. So it's not like they were giving anything away.
Yeah, they weren't spotting for him.
We were able to sit there and watch what was going on. And if you're trying to learn how to bedfish, like that was what was cool for me, is because I enjoy bedfish and I like trying to make those fish bite. And watching what James Watson was doing, I'm like, okay, I do things like that sometimes. Like I'll try to hit him with it just to make him mad. And that's what he was doing. He was swimming it right over their back.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to see that in person just made it so it was a good learning tool. If you're somebody that doesn't know anything about it, or even if you know something about it, you can still watch other techniques. If you got that stingy fish someday that doesn't want to bite, you can learn what to do too. It just, that coverage, I mean, I could have watched that all day long.
Yeah, I agree. If you ever find a fish like that you want to fire up, throw a big swim bait into that nest and let it sink on the nest. Watch what happens. Watch what happens when you put a big intruder in there. Anyway, that's just a side note. I don't want to give away too much. This is not really a give away the juice kind of a show here, but I wanted to go back to Gagliardi because all the comments that I make about the glide baits come out with the score tracker. How did he win this tournament? He won the tournament drop shotting using forward facing sonar. But it was cool the way he was doing it, because everybody that was fishing these this blueback herring, they were throwing cranks and they were throwing jerk baits and they were throwing big swimmers and things like that. And he was throwing a drop shot. And if you watch this week, guys were catching a lot of stripers because the stripers are mixed in there with the largemouth. He caught a few, but he did not nearly have to go through as many stripers as a lot of people did with that little drop shot. It was pretty cool to hear him talk about how he was doing that and how he was using that live electronics. Probably going to make Randy mad, but Randy's mad. It's just the way it is.
So speaking of Randy, he posted a deal. His video he had the other day was, "What do you do if you're an angler that's upset about forward-facing sonar?"
Oh, I missed that. What did he say?
I didn't watch it. I just got in the comments. I said, "I'm not angry. I have forward-facing sonar on my boat." That's all I posted.
Oh, you didn't even watch the video? I didn't see that one. Otherwise, I would probably clicked on that one. I'm a sucker for almost anything he puts up there.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch it just because I want to see, just what he has to say. But sometimes I had to stop watching some of his stuff for a little while just because I got a little too much. But sorry, I'm trying to look at something here.
Well, I got something for you. We can beat this around a little bit. I think you know how I'm going to respond to this, and I think I know how you're going to respond to this. But did you see where Keith Poche has been disqualified from the BASS Elite Series event at Lake Murray, April 20th to 23rd, because he just fished the Major League Fishing event there this week, and there you go. More of the petty, I'm just going to say it, the more of the petty bullshit that goes on between these organizations. So Keith Poche is out there trying to do really exciting things. I was so happy that he won, and I was hoping he could win that classic. Boy, that would be the ultimate in your face, everybody. Um, but of course, he's fishing the Major League Fishing event this week. And because there's a 30-day off limits period, oh, brother. Predictable, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to like we've talked about. They need to figure this crap out. You should. I mean, I understand off limits rules. I'm not mad about them having an off limits rule. I'm good with that. But these tournaments should have never overlapped
Right.
to the point that he's going to have to fall into this. Because again, if somebody's a fan of Keith Poche, they're going to watch him in whatever league he's fishing in. So if he's fishing in Bass or he's fishing in MLF, people are going to watch him, which now you're attracting those people to your team. It's no different than when a sports player, you fall in love with a player on your favorite baseball team and he leaves and goes to another team through free agency or whatever. Sometimes you still cheer for him on that other team.
That's right.
So why not? Again, it goes back to what we keep saying. You're trying to ask me to pick and choose what I'm supposed to be a fan of and which league. I'm not going to pick.
Yeah.
So quit making it that way. Because the only people that are fighting are y'all. We're okay. We're us as the fans, most fans. Now you're going to have you're going to have some fans that are like, I only watch Bass and I'll never watch MLF ever. Well, you're an idiot. So sorry, but you're an idiot. It's freaking fishing. So watch any of it you can watch and let's enjoy it. But
right.
We don't do that. We got to be. Oh, no, I stand with these people and those only. Okay, cool. I guarantee you if MLF called you tomorrow, you're a diehard Bass guy, and they said, hey, I'll pay you money to come fish in MLF. You want to do it? You're not going to be like, nope, you're not Bass, buddy. So.
Yeah, it was predictable. I guess it was predictable. I got something else.
Sorry, I was a second ago when I was typing, I was logging in. I had to log into MLF for the Score Tracker Insider deal.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, every fish gag we already caught today was all on a soft plastic drop shot.
Nice.
So, or at least all the ones I got listed here, which I'm assuming.
You know what's interesting too about this now is we've had 4 BPT events this year. We had the stage 1, stage 2, and now stage 3, and then we had the Red Crest and the home lake advantage has proven to work in 3 out of those 4 events. Chris Lane won it on Okeechobee, right? Was it Okeechobee or the Harris Chain? I get these lakes mixed up.
I think it was Harris Chain.
Yes. I could probably look that up right now, but
yeah, I'm looking at it right now because as soon as we say
Chris Lane won that event.
Chain.
Kissimmee. Oh, there. See, I was wrong on all 3 of them. So Chris Lane wins the Kissimmee Chain, and then at gosh, I'm getting these lakes all mixed up.
Lake Norman. So the Red Crest was at Lake Norman,
right? And that was
one.
What's that?
Brian Thrift won.
Brian Thrift, who lives right there, won, and now Anthony Gagliardi wins on Lake Murray, which is his home lake. And I know these guys don't have time to fish these lakes that often, but they have time, and they have time on these lakes. Marty Stone said some interesting stuff today. He said that he thinks with the 5 fish limit that we're going to see a lot more of those kinds of things happening, because the longer these guys who have a lot of local knowledge, as long as they stay alive in these events, they're going to prevail because in the every fish counts format, he said somebody can get on a kick and catch a lot of fish, but when you're limited
Right.
to the 5 fish, it's going to come down to these guys that know how to find big fish and stuff like that. It was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting to listen to him to talk about that. Mike Iaconelli, Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I saw that. Actually, it was funny is I saw the article where they were talking about it, and I didn't read it. And then you said something to me about him being in the Hall of Fame, and so I went and brought that article back up. But yeah, that's he definitely deserves it.
I think so. I think so.
It was. He does a lot of good for the sport. He does a lot of stuff for kids. And I remember when they were on Conrad, I maybe already told you the story, but he was kind of irritated. He was irritated about the back-to-back tournaments, and he was irritated. He kind of vented on live about his irritation, and then he got on the stage, and he was being Ike, and he just wasn't talking, and they were asking him questions. He just kind of nodded, and then he walked off the stage, and I was like, really, guy? Like, come on, you got to give us something. But again, I'm not in that moment. Well, anyways, then he went around, and I watched him go back where everybody was going to get his autograph, and he signed every person that was over there's autograph. And then I was like, you know what? So then I kind of started following along with him and watching what he was doing, and he's, like I said, all the stuff he does for kids. He would do these lives and stuff all the time, and he would answer all kinds of the fan questions. I mean, I'd ask a few questions, and he would answer mine, and he's just competitive. And then you start digging a little bit more into Mike Iaconelli, you realize he's just a competitive, passionate person when it comes to fishing, and I got to respect that. He's done a lot for the sport. He's brought a lot of people into the sport, and I think he 100% deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree. He's got a classic championship. He's got an angler of the year, right?
I was just going to try to look at that.
I'm quite certain he was angler of the year in 2006 because he had kind of hit rock bottom in the sport at that point. His antics got him in a lot of trouble. And remember,
Right.
he lost his boat sponsor, and Basscat took a chance on him, and boom, he came back and won the Angler of the Year. It showed everybody I think it was 2006.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find it here.
Okay, well, test me on my bass trivia, see if I'm right or not. I think I am. I also interviewed him fairly recently, and I think we talked about that. So that might be cheating.
I don't know if I can find it here.
Well, we can just assume that I'm right. We don't have to check. We don't have to fact check me.
You are correct. 2006. There it is. Well, I went to Bass's deal, and it was making me scroll through a bunch of pictures and trying to get to. Anyway, so
yeah,
yes,
we can critique the websites at another time because there's some critiquing that needs to be done there. But that's for another time.
But either way, you are correct. 2006. He's won Angler of the Year. He's won the Bassmasters Classic.
I believe he's also won tour level events on the FLW side also, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't think
I know for sure he won one of the cups in the MLF deal too.
Yeah. No, I think you survived that long, and like you say, Angler of the Year, Classic Championship, and on top of all the things that he does, I think that's legit. I think that's legit. That was kind of fun. It was kind of fun watching them. I was watching the classic when they told him, and it was kind of fun to watch that. Bill Dance actually told him he was in, and it was kind of a nice moment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he definitely deserves it.
You know,
So you actually, I don't think we've talked about this. Were you? I know it's really on our list. Were you surprised that Kevin Van Dam announced his retirement?
I think so. I think I think I was, and I think I will miss him. But I think Kevin's got things up his sleeve that he plans to do that are around the sport, and I think that we may not see him in tournaments, but I think we'll see him in a lot of places.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I said, he's not going anywhere. I was just, I wasn't, I wasn't expecting it when it happened. I'll say that. I
Yeah,
figured he had a few more years left in him, but
well, he probably does, but you hit these, you hit these moments of your life. Uh, Children are at a crucial age, things like that, and you want to make sure
right.
that you take care of all your business. So he doesn't have to do this anymore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah, he doesn't have to prove. He has nothing to prove his career.
We got a couple minutes left. I'm starting to get a countdown on our Zoom link here.
Oh yeah.
You got anything else for tonight?
I know you got to mention too was the. I'm kind of surprised at old Jacob Wheeler. He's kind of.
Well, Jacob Wheeler didn't make the knockout round. Is this the first knockout round he hasn't made? I think there might have been one other one that he hasn't made. But we get so used to seeing Jacob in the in the knockout rounds and in the finals and in winning. Um, the work I do with Duckett, those blue and white rods are so iconic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people come to the rod racks from distance when they see that because they've seen him so much on these broadcasts that
Yeah.
everybody wants to everybody wants to see it. And I got to tell you, he is he's a genius in terms of the rods that he's designed. He's got so many different models, and every one of them is for something a little bit different, and it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting
Yeah.
to
I'm pretty sure I own almost every one of them.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. There may be a couple models I don't have, but I have. I mean, I fish quite a bit with his rods. I went and bought a couple of them and started fishing with them, and they were just. I liked the way they felt, and
Yeah.
everything else, and so I've just kind of stuck with them.
Those cranking rods are great. I mean, they're exactly what you want a crank rod to be. Um, they just they're like butter, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, the fish when the fish hits, you're not going to tear the bait out of the fish's mouth. It's a good soft crank rod, and you can throw it a mile too. So
And I've compared it like I had a. I mean, I throw a Carolina rig sometimes, and I had one on the All Star rod, and I had one on the Jacob Wheeler's rod, and I sat there with my brother one day, and I said, feel this one, and I handed him my Wheeler rod, and I was like, I can feel a huge difference. I said, it's the same line, same weight, same everything else, but I could feel the sensitivity in it was just so much better. And he makes great rods, and I love him. So,
yeah, yeah, it's pretty good stuff.
and I'm not just saying that because you got a Duckett sign behind you.
Right. Well, I got a lot of this stuff right behind me. It's kind of where everything gets stashed. Well, Pat, do it again next week. What do you say?
Sounds good.
I'm sure there'll be something. I'm sure there'll be some kind of drama in the sport that we need to address.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe I'll go watch that Randy Blockett video so I can get some insight into.
I will say this: Randy's videos make excellent bass commissioner fodder. I mean,
That's true.
he really does a good job of creating issues out of things. And I tip my cap to him. I don't know that I agree even with the majority of the things he's saying. I mean, I will say his technical stuff, his fish tips are really good. He's got an excellent one right now on how to rig a wacky worm. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but he it's excellent. But when it comes to the issues, I think I disagree most of the time.
And yeah, and I used to watch some of his stuff when he would just talk about techniques and different things like that. But then when he went off on this, like the first time he went off on the forward facing sonar, I was like, okay, he's just getting it off his chest. But then, and I'm sure it's because, you know, my phone listens to me and it knows that I don't like it. So as soon as Randy posts a video with something related to forward facing sonar, my phone's going to show it to me. And I was just like, look, eventually you just got to stop. Just go back to fishing, man. Nobody's forcing you to use it. If you don't like it, we get it. You don't like it, so go fishing. Because I'm like you. His fishing techniques aren't terrible, so just do that.
Yeah, but it's good
But
stuff.
like you said, it gives us something to talk about.
It absolutely does. All right, Patrick, we'll talk to you again next week. All right.
Sounds good. We'll see you next week.
All right. Take care. Take care.